Hello world, this is RANDOMFIX, and today I'm going to be doing a 4-part series of on how to buy a pre-owned vehicle, what things you should look for, and how to quickly tell if you're getting a good car. And I've used this for the last 18 years, buying cars at a dealership, at auctions, so I have a little bit of experience, and in different states. So I've bought in Florida, Texas. So here's the things that I quickly do to make sure I'm getting a good car. First thing I do, I just check all the reservoirs. So this is my power steering fluid reservoir, right? So I'm going to make sure that it has fluid and it's between the minimum and maximum. This is my coolant reservoir. I want to make sure that the coolant reservoir, you can notice that the pink right here, it's got pink antifreeze in there, right? Or coolant. I want to make sure this is not brown or doesn't have any kind of residue. So I'm going to pop this up, and you can actually see that the fluid is pink and clear. So nobody's tried to use like a head gasket sealant on here, right? And windshield washer fluid reservoir, if it has any kind of a dipstick, where you can test it. If not, I'll show you how to check that in the car, or you could put some in yourself and see if it leaks on the spot. And I'm going to check the oil dipstick, and the oil dipstick, I'm checking for the oil level, and I'm also looking for any kind of scarring or marking. And what that will tell me is if somebody went through and didn't change the oil for 20-30,000 miles, you'll actually see a line straight across the oil dipstick, and or discoloration, and something you cannot wipe off. So I've seen that happen a lot with cars that are rentals, and sometimes they don't change the oil for thousands of 20-30,000 miles, and you'll see that happen a lot more. And then other than the oil on here, I'm going to go ahead and check the oil cap. I'm going to go make sure it doesn't have any brown looking peanut butter or any kind of moisture in there. And I've set the oil dipstick back so I don't forget. And I'm going to go ahead and put this back. If you're ever doing an oil change, I've worked at a shop, the best thing you can do is to put the oil cap right here. In case you ever close your hood without putting the oil cap on, you'll have a damaged oil cap and not a potentially blown motor. So just a little hint. Put that back on here. Now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do a quick inspection of the battery. Make sure there's no corrosion around here. You notice that the battery terminal here has been replaced. It's not the original one. It still works. Crank's fine. I haven't gotten the time to change it. I'm going to check the brake fluid reservoir, and the brake fluid reservoir, it's clear, it's not discolored, and the fluid level is at the maximum. So I did the brakes on this vehicle about 5-6 months ago, so the brakes are not wearing down too quickly. And one other hint, if you notice, this car has a computer right here in the front engine compartment. If you go to buy a car and the car has been steam cleaned, the motor, I really recommend doing a really long test drive, because when you start spraying water on some of the electronics, especially under pressure or steam cleaners, you could be doing a lot of damage. So I don't mind a dirty engine compartment because no one's trying to cover up anything. And then if you really want to go a little crazier, you can check the belts. They're right down there. You can see that the writing on the belt's fairly new. It's not too worn out. I replaced the belt about 10,000 miles ago. And if the car hasn't been started, you can check the coolant cap and see how the coolant inside is. And you can see my coolant is topped off, so it's not empty, and you don't see any brown residue, like almost like dirt looking or head gasket repair sealant in there. Alright, let me go ahead and show you what to look for on the dash before you crank the car over. So I just got in the car. I'm checking, make sure that the car has a check engine light and no one's disconnected. It's right over here and it's working. The oil light is working right down here. The ABS light is on. The TPMS light is on. The airbag light is on. So in the odometer is right there, so I'm able to cycle through that. And I'm going to go to the back, put the camera down, and start up the vehicle so you can see if the car smokes when it first starts up or not. Alright. Car just started. I'm seeing if the car smokes at all. You get a little tiny bit of smoke, could be normal. You want to let the car run for about a minute, and then go slam on the gas a few times. Do not do it when it's first cold. You might be damaging the motor, and if the problem is there, you may be a little cautious, or you may have too much motor oil in the car. And let me show you what I look for while the car is running. So I'm not going to shut the hood on the vehicle, but I'm going to go ahead and look around the rest of the car. I'm going to go ahead and play with all the windows, making sure all the windows go down on the vehicle. I'm going to raise them back up. Some of these windows on these cars, like these Toyotas, they can cost you a whole lot of money. So check everything before you purchase it. And I'm letting this car warm up a few minutes. If it's possible, you want to try to see if you can look underneath, see if you can find any kind of oil problems. If you see a big glob of oil, you may want to pay closer attention to it. And I'm going to walk around the car. I'm not really inspecting the body at this time yet, but I'm just getting a little overview of the condition of the tires, right? These ones got a little bit life left on them, but they're getting pretty run down. And seeing if there's any other damage. I got hit in the rear bumper back here, so I would notice that. But I'm not going to be picking this apart in front of the owner. So what you want to do now, once the car warms up, you want to go ahead and shut the hood and get ready for a test drive. And I'll show you what to check for when we're driving, and we'll see you there.